latest silly Jecks video about books and things. And also welcome to the first one being recorded with a brand new camera, a Nikon 7100, with a manual that's longer than most novels I've read. Anyway, thanks a lot for new subscribers. Thanks for all those people who have decided to come and get attached to watching these videos. This is a specialist one because it's all about writing action scenes. I was asked if I could make some comments about that, and it's quite an interesting process. I've written an awful lot of action scenes in my time, and I've killed off a huge number of people, I guess. I'm in the middle of writing a few more now, and it's never easy, and the worst thing is you really do have to try to make sure that each of them is very fresh and different. It was a standard policy when I started writing all my books, they're all on a bookshelf over there, that each book would be different from the one previous to it. I didn't want to be accused of writing one book and then rewriting it many times. So writing action scenes is a bit the same. You can't have every action scene, every battle scene the same as the one before, because that would just get plain boring for the reader. You wouldn't sell very many additional books. Everything has to be slightly different or radically different. That can mean writing battle scenes where you've got a different type of field. It can be different type of level. It can be a different scale of battle. So you've got one battle with 10,000 people, one battle with a couple of hundred. The main thing is, though, if you're going to try to write a battle scene, think it through beforehand. Make a good record on the paper about exactly how you think it's going to develop. It's easier, obviously, if you've got something like Crécy or Poitiers or one of the big battles where it's been researched and studied in depth, because that gives you a good basis to go from. But the first point always is think through, draw on paper exactly what it is you want to have happen in that battle. The next thing is, you're going to have more than one character to write about. You need to know exactly where all of your key characters are. So for example, in Fields of Glory I had Sir John de Sully, I had Beringer, I had Archibald. I needed to have specific locations for all of them. I had to know exactly where they're going to be at each different stage of the battle. You're going to write in a number of scenes. You can't just have one huge chapter flitting from one point of the battle to another. So always write short scenes so that you keep them exciting, brief, pointed, and then have one point of view per scene. And if you can, you have one point of view, say with Beringer, next point of view is going to be Archibald, next point of view John de Sully. Keep it moving so that the reader is always going along from one section to the next. And think very carefully about the main action sequences. Little bits of, well, they had a rest because it was a bit boring. Readers don't want to hear about that. One sentence is enough to explain that. You don't have to go into a scene about how they stopped, cooked up some food and had a meal. The reader just wants to go from that action scene to the next. They're very greedy for action, readers. They get very bored when it's too quiet. So those are the four key things. Think it through beforehand, know where the key characters are, write one point of view per scene, keep the scene short, and think of all of the main action sequences and what's happening to each of the characters in those. Those are the four big ones. And the fifth and the sixth points are, when you've done that, go back and cut out all repetitions. So if you've got somebody attacking, somebody with a sword attacking from one side, attacking from the right to the left, any repetitions of that, cut it out. It's all too easy when you start writing battles and so on to have, always nice to have a motorbike in the background, it's always easy to have something fixed in your mind about how people will fight. Well, actually, if they're fighting in a shield wall, probably most of them are holding a shield there and just either hacking or stabbing. But just describing the same thing time and time again is not very interesting for the reader. So think about cutting all repetitions and make sure that every different battle scene is slightly different, or very different if you can. Something that an editor told me, thank you Jess, was cut anything that's too gothic. So if you're going to have action scenes, saying that someone's arm was cut off, that's fine. If you have a flap of skin about 3 inches long was cut away from his cheek and it was dangling and there was blood everywhere, That's just a bit too much. Leave as much as you can to the reader's imagination. Readers have got very good imaginations. They don't need you pointing out every last final detail. So the main things are, think it through, know where the key characters are, write one point of view per scene and think about the main action sequences. Then go back, cut all repeats, cut out anything that's too gothic, and the main key factor there is when you've written them out, read through what you've done, rewrite, cut it and rewrite again. It's very, very important. Bear in mind always that all writing is rewriting. There's no way that you can write down a battle scene quickly and then that will be absolutely perfect. No writing's absolutely perfect with the first go. It's always the rewrites that make it good. Now, this has been all good fun. If you have any suggestions or comments, I've been asked if I can write something about the use of language, use of how much medieval language I use compared to modern language and so on. So that will be coming up before too long. And apart from that, it's the standard old thing. If you liked this, please hit the like, thumbs up button thing. Do favourite it. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share it with other people. And that's pretty much about it for today. We're now going to go away and see if we've actually pressed the right buttons on this camera or if I've just been talking to myself for the last 5 minutes. Thanks very much, thanks for watching and see you soon. Take care. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about what a brilliant year I've had so far.